taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and yes, I am back, and we are going to resume normal service, of course. Alright, so I have two clips today. The video is going to be a little longer than normal, just because, you know, I haven't put up a video in the past few days. So here we go, in the Cleveland, and we are on Fault Line, and I'm grouped up today with Toadking. In fact, Toadking is in both the videos today, and he does have his own Twitch channel as well, so you can take a look in the comment section of the video. I've got a link to his Twitch channel there. Be sure to follow it so that you can get the updates as to when he is live streaming. Yeah. So this was a really awesome battle. Not necessarily because of, you know, my results or Toadking's results, but the team results, and we really pulled this one off. Most importantly, though, we're taking advantage, because this is after they patched it, right? So we're taking advantage of the fact that we've spawned right next to each other, and we're both in the same ship. So Toadking's in his Cleveland, I'm in mine. So essentially what we're going to be doing in this battle is almost forming like a little Cleveland train here. Yeah. At all times in this battle, I'm either going to be ahead of Toadking and he's going to be behind, or vice versa. There will be times, you know, when we're right next to each other as we're maneuvering around, but generally speaking, for this entire battle, we're just following one another, supporting one another as we work our way through the map, just to take out, you know, any enemies that are putting pressure on the cap points that we have here. So, you know, that's what we're looking at in today's game, and it's just such an advantage now, being able, for your division, being able to spawn together like that, being able to group up and form your own formation. Not only does it, you know, help the division, but it really helps the team as well, because now the divisions, if they're working together and properly, you know, they're really able to get in there and make a difference where it's needed on the battlefield, or on the, yeah, we'll call it a battlefield. You know, the ocean, I suppose, whatever, right? So they're really able to get in there and make that difference, and oh, it just makes for some really fun gameplay. So kudos to Wargaming for putting that into the game, incorporating that in there for us. Finally, I know, but it's here now, so awesome. Now, taking a look, right? So I know that Toadking is behind me, and I know that I'm going to have the support of him, and I'm going to support him. So more or less just plowing right into the middle right now. No real intention on capping B. I made this clear to Toadhead as we're going in, right? I'm not here to cap B. I'm just going in to see what's around, to see where the enemy is going. It's a risky move in any cruiser, frankly, to do this. If you do this, generally it's going to be, you know, mid to late battle, and there's already a lot of enemy ships gone. But with Toadking supporting me, you know, he's a really good player and I'm a really good player, so I know that we're going to be able to do this without too much issue. So kind of skirting into the B point now, because so far what I've seen, not a whole lot of enemies around, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Let's try and maybe take the B, but I'm not committed to it. Now we can see a number of enemies are popping up, right, off to the port side. Immediately I'm turning away. Yeah, we're not taking B. I'm getting out of here. There's Cleveland, and I think it's 2 New Yorks off in the distance there, so really don't want to stick around because they can do a lot of damage to me. There is this Marblehead over here as well. He's going to make an appearance later on in the battle, but for now, you know, he's there and I'm just sort of taking pot shots off at him. Same thing with the Cleveland here that I can shoot as well, you know, and a little fire on the Marblehead. When I was turning in, I had to be careful that I didn't cut Toadking off. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I didn't do that. But it all worked out. And because there's two of us, right, the enemy has to choose which one they're going to fire at, and, you know, advantage to Toadking here because they decided to shoot at me first, which is good as well, because when we're working in a group like this, now it's almost as if we have double the hit points, because we have two ships that, you know, you have to get rid of, as opposed to just the one that you would normally face. So I'm coming in, going around this island, going to use cover. Toadking, you can see him right there, right behind me, doing the same thing. We're going to sneak around this island here, see what we can see, and more importantly, you know, break line of sight with the enemies that were firing at us. So we can kind of regroup, see where we want to go from here. There are a number of enemies around, and you know they're all off in the distance though, so it makes it a little harder. But I do like this east side of the map. A bit of coffee. I do like the east side of the map here on Fault Line, just because I have all these little islands to move in and out of. I like to play on this side when I'm in, well, destroyer, cruiser, or a fast battleship. Generally speaking, though, not to say I don't like battles on the west side. It's just I find this is different on the east side. You don't see battles happen very often over here. Well, large battles anyway, involving a lot of enemy ships. So it's nice to be able to just change it up and see that the enemy has gone this way. So yeah, we're going to be fighting on the east side here. Now that that's determined, pushing back into the center, because at this time, we broke line of sight. All those enemy ships that were strafing out there, they're all gone now. They've moved further on, and they're really more towards the extreme east. So we do have more of an advantage at this point in terms of using cover and being able to fire in on them as well, because these guys are going to be engaged with the allies that I have at the C cap point, so that they might not necessarily be focused on myself and Toadking, because again, remember, Toadking's right behind me, which gives us a great chance to really start doing some damage here and mowing some people down. So I'm lining up in the New York and firing high explosive, obviously. It's what you're going to do when you're in a Cleveland and you're shooting at a battleship at range. Frankly, most times near Cleveland, you'd probably be firing high explosive anyway. There's a Cleveland. That is the Cleveland who was firing at me earlier, I believe, and he's in a reverse. Not sure what he's doing. And now we're moving into the B point. So now we're going to start capping the B point. This is at the point of the battle here where I'm more or less committed to this B point. I want to get it capped. And again, Toadking's right behind me, so yeah, I'm feeling really good about this. So we're just going to sail around and try and cap the point. I did take some incoming shots there. I think it was from another Cleveland. But I get behind the island and I'm not too concerned with that guy. There he is, there he pops up, and it is in fact another Cleveland. Look at him there, and so we're going to try and get, just do whatever shots, or get whatever shots I can into him, but I'm still going to turn and maneuver without leaving the cap point. That's the big thing here. Don't want to leave the cap point, because we almost have it capped. There we go. We now have B, we have C, and we just took A. So we have all three cap points at this time. That is not too shabby at all. The team, like I say, this is as much teamwork between Toadking and I, but also the team is really pulling out all the stops here in terms of teamwork to get the caps capped. that just sounds weird. There's a New York friend again. Gonna fire off at him. You'll notice too that I did lose a turret. I think it's the number 3 turret on the starboard end is gone. So yeah, not too bad. Well, not too great, I should say. More coffee. And we still have the Cleveland over there as well that I'm firing into whenever I get a chance. There he is there. Put some shots into him. And I am firing high explosive at him. This it's going to do the best damage right now to him, I think. And it works out well for me anyway. At this point in time, Toadking is now taking the lead. We didn't do this because, I was on lower hit points. It was because I was maneuvering away from that Cleveland that I was firing at and coming around the island. As I was doing that, Toadking was still pushing forward, so then I came in behind him. But it did work out really, really nice, because you'll notice Toadking has almost full health. I'm on half health. So if he's the lead ship, then he'll probably take most of the flak for me, and we can start using his hit points as opposed to my hit points, right? To keep us both alive, to keep us both in the battle here. So this was actually a really nice play that just sort of worked out. It wasn't planned, I can tell you that. But it did work out really, really nice for us. So still have all 3 points. You can see the enemy is kind of putting pressure on that C cap point. So we're now pushing beyond the B point because there's really no enemies around. We want to try to use range to our advantage here and keep somewhat element of surprise as we come around this island. Toadking is slowing down, letting me catch up a little here, because he doesn't want to go around the island all on his own, right? Then all the guns will be pointed at him, and he has a big chance of just getting maybe detonated or one-shotted, because we're dealing with some Clevelands and some New Yorks over there, so yeah. I'm going to come up, catch up a little, and then we're both going to come around the island more or less at the same time. You can see us doing it here. And you can see how we're maneuvering as well. I'm trying to keep Toad King in front of me, or at least ahead of me, I should say. And he's trying to keep me behind him, right? So that we're both firing into the same target and more or less using each other kind of as cover. Well, I'm using him as cover, should say. We've got this New York and we're just pounding away at him. This guy doesn't have a chance in hell. More coffee. And we're getting, the ranges are closing, but, you know, I'm not really concerned either about that, because you know, I do have half health, so I can probably take a broadside from this guy. And Toad King's right next to me, so, you know, whether or not he's going to shoot at me or Toad King, 50-50 chance here. But, you know, he never really has the chance. There he goes. I do take a few shots from, I think it's this Cleveland, actually, not the New York. So I lose a bit more health, but no big deal. I'm on 1 kill now. We've got 2 Clevelands off in the distance, so Toad King and I are going to focus on this Cleveland that we're firing at now. We're going to focus on him first, try and get this guy gone, and then we'll move off to the second Cleveland. So more shots going out onto this guy, and he's almost gone. There he goes. Toad King gets him. So that's Toad King's first kill, so awesome. Now we're moving to the second Cleveland. Just putting fire into him. You can see Toad King, again, is ahead of me at this time. We've switched places, so he's taking a lot of flak right now, but it's helping me because I'm on fairly low hit points. And again, it's keeping us both alive. We're, you know, this is how you would work as a division, keeping or using, you know, your ships to your full potential and using the hit points that you have, all of them, right? So there goes the second Cleveland, and that is my second kill. So fantastic. Here comes the Marblehead again. Yep, I did say he'd be making an appearance later on in the battle, and here he is. So we can see him here, putting shots into him. When I was reviewing the replay, I was thinking to myself, you know, should I have been firing armor piercing at this guy? And I'm pretty sure I should have been. And I'm sure I've talked about it before. Just in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment here, I just never thought of it. I was just, you know, concerned with getting as much shells downrange as possible because I knew, see, Toad King is on fairly low health here. The Marblehead did get some torpedoes off, yeah, and we're going to see how effective these Marblehead torpedoes are in a minute. There they are, we can see the 3 there. Toad King is saying to me, well, Thotgor, it's all over, I'm about to die. Yeah, that little tiny bit of damage there that he took, that was the torpedo damage. I think he said all it did was damage a gun or something. So the Marblehead torpedoes aren't very effective. We knew that anyway, but really, really funny to see. I mean, he was freaking out because he thought that, you know, it was all over for him. He was about to die. Nope, turns out he's sticking around. We still have a few enemies to kill, but, you know, ultimately not going to get the chance. Battle ends. What a battle that was. And we're going to take a look at the team results here in a moment, but you can see from mine, you know, victory, 2 kills, you know, over 100,000 credits, 2,600 experience. But look at the team results. Everyone on the team was who survived anyway was more or less on the top, you know, doing a lot of damage to them, to the enemy team, that is. And, you know, a lot of our teammates did surpass the highest scoring teammate on, or highest scoring enemy on the enemy team. So that was nice too. So overall, not a bad battle at all. Next, we are back with Toad King. He's in his aircraft carrier this time, and I'm in the Nuremberg. This is the last battle I played in the Nuremberg before I got to buy the Tier 7 York German cruiser. I did keep the Nuremberg, and I am going to keep the Nuremberg. I actually really, really enjoy the Nuremberg, so it is going to be a keeper for me in terms of a Tier 6 cruiser. Definitely gotta have it. And we're on the new-ish map, Northern Lights. So this is, you know, aesthetically very pleasing to the eyes. Really enjoy this map. Essentially, it's just north, though, so it plays similar. But, I mean, look at how awesome this looks. Oh, yeah. So, this time I'm not going, because, you know, Toad King is in his aircraft carrier, I'm not going to be able to work closely with him. You could make the argument that, you know, I could provide the AA cover for him, and yeah, I would accept that argument. Nuremberg has decent AA ability, and we're facing tier 6 and tier 7 aircraft carriers, so I'd probably be able to do something. But I find the most valuable time to do air cover to an aircraft carrier is at the beginning of the battle, generally speaking, especially if you're in the higher tiers, because the aircraft carriers are going to go and take each other out. It's just what's going to happen. But then if you stick around too long, I find you never actually accomplish a whole lot, and you don't get that much experience, that much credits, and it just doesn't make the game, that battle, really fun, and it just doesn't do it for me. So I generally, if I'm going to provide AA cover to an aircraft carrier, it's going to be at the beginning of the battle, and fight off that first wave, and then that's more or less it. I'm going to go off and then do my own thing, because I want to do damage, I want to get kills, and I want money and experience. I need the money and experience, so that's generally how I approach it. And aircraft carrier captains, if that offends you, I do apologize, but that's how I tend to do things. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, open to suggestions, open to know how you guys do it as well. Especially with the American cruisers later on, right? They're essentially AA escorts, is what they are. But if you play them that way, you don't really do too well in them. At this point in the game, you're not really getting a whole lot of compensation for the planes you shoot down. They count, and yes, you'll get a bit of experience and credits for it, but not as much as maybe you should. At least that's how I feel about it anyway. Alright, so you can see that I'm going to go to the west side right now. The reason behind this is there are planes coming in, and I wanted to intercept them and do something about them before they fully get over there to Toadkings. So that's what I'm doing, and I've got a Pensacola on the starboard side of me as well, and that's what he's doing. While we're en route to there, we do come across the enemies that are also on the west side. So we've got a Pensacola off in the distance that I put shots into. I quickly switch over to armor piercing on him. We can see a Cleveland there as well. But I'm going to try and focus on the Pensacola, but I don't realize that I actually have the Cleveland targeted, so quickly move on to the Cleveland. So this is the guy that I'm going to shoot at now, the Cleveland. I can do, in a Nuremberg, pretty good damage to a Cleveland at range. With armor piercing, yeah. You can see the shots go in there. They're pretty fantastic in terms of damage that they're doing. So, this is one of the reasons why I love this ship so much. And if I know it's really hard to play, I know, and I get that. But once you figure out how to play this ship, and once you figure out, how much damage you can actually do in a minute in this thing, yeah, you're probably going to fall in love just like I did. So, in that brief time that I was talking about that, the Cleveland's already down to less than half health. Sure, I do have the Pensacola next to me hitting him as well, but you can see the Pensacola shots going in, and they're not really doing a whole lot of damage because he's not aiming too great. For the most part, I have done a lot of the damage to that guy. So I've got a few last salvos coming into him there. There we go. That's my first kill, and that is first blood. So fantastic. Managed to take out the Cleveland. The benefit to all this here as well is, if you recall, I wanted to intercept those airplanes that were coming in for Toad King. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to do it, but by moving over here, I'm now intercepting the enemy ships that Toad King may have had to deal with here. You can see that I'm now targeting the second Cleveland that was over here, so doing not so much damage to this guy because I'm having a harder time aiming and getting my range on him. And for the most part, it's because, you can see I'm maneuvering sharply here because I don't want to incur any incoming fire. The Pensacola that was with me as well, he's on my starboard now. He's almost dead. He's very close to dying. So that kind of sucks, but you're going to see that Pensacola make a comeback here, which is nice. Now I've got this enemy Pensacola that is, charging towards us, so this is the guy I'm shooting at now. But you can see I'm not actually doing a whole lot of damage because I'm not really hitting him that much. I'm having a hard time aiming or getting my range, I suppose, and on where to shoot when an enemy ship is coming straight at me with this German cruiser. I'm still getting used to the firing arc of the guns. It's not as high and pronounced as an American firing arc. It's not as flat as a Japanese firing arc. It's in between there, and so that's what I'm sort of getting used to at this time. And this is the benefit, really, to working your way up through the German ships as opposed to just buying your way to the top. Because you learn all these little things along the way that and you're able to learn and experiment with these things without being, too harshly scrutinized in terms of repair costs. Whereas if you're in your tier 10s and you're just getting used to it, it's going to cost you a lot to learn these lessons. The Pensacola is getting closer now, and he's showing me his broadside, so yeah, I'm going to put as many shots into him as possible. In this battle as well, you'll notice that I spend a lot of time through the aiming binoculars, right, and not a whole lot of time looking around at me. Let me explain myself here. What I'm doing is I'm steering my boat or my ship, captaining my ship, and maintaining my situational awareness by looking at my mini-map. I know this is a crazy concept for a lot of people, but I'm doing it all on the mini-map. You can see, on the mini-map, it shows you where you're going to be steering and where your allies are and where the enemies are. So I'm taking that into account. I only have enemies on my starboard. I'm running away from them as fast as I possibly can because I don't want to die. That Pensacola, he's almost dead, but he can still do some pretty good damage to me because he has some big cannons on that thing, 8-inch guns anyway. And, I'm making sure that I'm not going to ground myself. I'm not going to ram into any allies that are around me. So that's how I'm doing this. I'm not, I don't have my blinders on here. I'm just doing it a different way, which actually, it just sounds weird saying it a different way because it's your mini-map. You should be using your mini-map on a very regular basis in battles. But anyway, there's the Pensacola. You can see he's so close to death at this time, and I'm just trying to get that kill. I can taste it, and I really, really want it. Trying to put whatever shots I can put in, but you can see that I do have some allies shooting in there as well. Ally gets the kill. Whatever. At least the Pensacola is gone now. One less ship to deal with. Now it's this Cleveland that I have to deal with. So again, not really concerned about the Cleveland because as long as he's not focused on me and I keep a good distance away from him, I'm going to get this Cleveland gone without any issue at all. So putting shots into the Cleveland, full salvos, attempting to anyway, but keeping aware again, like I say, of the minimap and taking a look at the minimap. So you can see that the enemies are pushing on the west side. Once this Cleveland is gone, I'm going to have to deal with some more enemies on the west side as well. Sorry, enemies are pushing on the east side, yeah. When I was doing all that, though, Cleveland is now down to half health. He's focused on me at this time. Or at least kind of focused on me. You can see he's splitting his fire, right? He's shooting at some of the allies that I have, also shooting at the Cleveland. But then he puts a few shots into me from time to time, but he really, really should have tried to get me gone, because I'm a pretty big threat here to this Cleveland. There he goes. Fantastic. Ally gets the kill, so that's amazing. We don't have to worry about the Cleveland anymore. So we're taking a look around, looking at the Northern Lights. They do look awesome. And if anyone noticed, they do actually move through the sky, which is really cool as well. The only enemy remaining here on the west side is the New Mexico. So that's going to be my target now. I'm going to try and get this guy gone, support some of my teammates in their efforts as well, to get the kill and to get him gone. So that's what I'm going to do, just waiting for him to, get a little closer here. I have armor piercing loaded, but I'm going to queue up my high explosive here momentarily. Taking a look at the other enemies that might be around, because even though I'm more or less set on this New Mexico, I don't want to only fire at him. I want to make sure that if there's any other enemies that are around and that are close enough, I want to make sure that I kill them first, because you can see the New Mexico is more or less at my max firing range, I think. No, he's not, but he's out there anyway. So my shots go in and I manage to set him on fire. Excellent. That's what you want to do with your cruisers, especially at the battleships at mid to low tiers. Set them on fire. You can just destroy them, and it makes battleship captains very, very angry, and it's pretty funny. So I set another fire on him. And keep in mind, I mean, while they're setting all these fires, right, he's using his repair parties, he's using his repair abilities, so now those are all on cooldown, so now when you set more fires and do more critical damage, he's not going to be able to repair that. Gonna have to let it burn out, gonna have to just let that repair on its own, and all the while eating away at those hit points. Yep, very, very crucial. I do have allies supporting me though, which is really nice. I have a battleship ahead of me, and I think a Pensacola ahead of me as well. So all three of us are shooting at the New Mexico here, doing whatever we can just to get him gone as quick as possible. Because once he's gone, he's really the only opposition we have to face off against on this west side. And then once he's gone, we can kind of move into their cap and see what havoc we can wreak in their cap. More shots going into the New Mexico here as well. More fires being done. More damage as well. Just fantastic. And you can see, again, allies' shots coming in as well. And it's always nice to see when you have allies around you and you're all focusing fire. Focusing fire is really key as well to get battleships down, just to sink them. You can, solo cruisers and destroyers at your own discretion, and it'll probably go pretty well. But when it comes to battleships, hard battleships, and you're in a lightly armored cruiser or destroyer, yeah, you got to kind of focus fire here with your team. Work with them, right? The whole point of the game. There goes the New Mexico. Excellent. That is my second kill. So not too bad. And now that he's gone, there's no real enemy opposition on this west side. So we more or less have free reign at this time to push in, see what we can do, and try and get some enemies gone. There's a Colorado. He's on full health. More or less full health anyway. So I'm just going to start putting shots into him. I feel pretty confident that I'll be able to avoid his shots. You can see I'm not turning and exposing any broadsides here. I'm just driving straight away from him, or well, sailing straight away from him. Shot down a few planes. That's not too bad. And I did set a fire on that Colorado as well. So now I know that he probably has used his repair ability to put out the fire. So that's good. So now any incoming damage that I do to him, don't have to worry about. There, I got some torpedo bombers to deal with. Yeah, I did take one torpedo. Yeah, not too bad. But while that was happening, I took a big shot there from the Colorado. Yeah. While I was trying to avoid the torpedo, I couldn't avoid the shots incoming from the Colorado, so I took a big hit, and I'm down to very little health. So you got to play really safe at this point, and this is why you want to play so cautiously when you're in your German cruisers, because just no effort at all, and they are gone, just blown out of the water. Luckily, the Colorado's no longer focusing on me because I have some allies that continue to go around the island on the west side, and that's what he's focused on now. So for me, now at this point, it's just a matter of pumping shots into the Colorado, keeping those fires burning, setting more fires, doing more damage to them. Because, as well on top of, just doing damage and setting fires to them, but I'm also taking out anti-aircraft guns, secondary batteries. Specifically secondary batteries. Once he gets closer to my allies over there, that's really going to help them out, because he's not going to be able to just get, those secondary batteries firing and get his damage per minute up while he's so close to my allies. So very, very important, and a nice little side effect of, just shooting into the battleship here and getting, shooting high explosive into the battleship here. So yeah, works out quite well. But you can see, I just keep pumping shots into them. On the mini-map, if we look at that, and if we look around at where I am on the map, I'm going to just start pushing straight into their cap at this point. They only have 3 enemy ships remaining. So they have 2 aircraft carriers and this Colorado. So I'm not concerned at all anymore about a whole lot. The biggest concern that I would have is if the enemy aircraft carriers decide to focus on me with their torpedo bombers and their dive bombers, because I'm on such low health that they will probably kill me. But that's the only concern I have. Other than that, everything is fine. Even the Colorado here is going behind the island. He can't shoot at me, but because of my firing arc, you can see I'm still able to shoot at him. Just aiming at the mountain, I've got him targeted, so all my shots just go over and, go right into him. And this was awesome. You can see, we started out on that Colorado at full health. Now the Colorado is almost dead. Very shortly, he will be dead. there's the Pensacola. I believe that this is the same Pensacola who was following me earlier in the battle. Or, well, not following me, but, we were fighting together earlier in the battle at the beginning on the west side. I believe that that's the same one, and he survived. So if it is the same one, kudos to that guy. If not, this new Pensacola guy, captain, kudos to him because he doesn't actually die. So that was pretty great. There is the first enemy aircraft carrier I come across, and it's an Independence. That deserves a cup of coffee. The Colorado just died. One of my allies got him, so that was fantastic. Now we just have 2 enemy aircraft carriers to deal with. So I have some pretty good range on the Nuremberg. It's 16.5 kilometers. The ship itself will do 32 knots, so that's not too bad at all. So yeah, I'm going to chase down some aircraft carriers here. I already have an ally in the capping, so I'm not even going to bother going in there and start capping. No, I want to kill the aircraft carriers, get those kills, get the points and the experience. Because, I'm really close to the York at the time of this battle. And if I have a really rocking battle this match, then I will have enough credits to actually buy the York. And it turned out that I did really well. So the Independence is just coming into my range now, so I'm firing off some first shots here. Obviously, again, high explosive is loaded. That goes without saying when you're firing at an aircraft carrier. Although you can do some pretty amazing damage with armor piercing against the aircraft carriers as well. It's just, there's something to be said about setting a fire on an aircraft carrier and taking away their ability to either land or launch planes. So high explosive is really the way to go. He's almost dead, on fire. Look at him, and all my allies are shooting him as well. I've got some few salvos coming into him here, but yeah, there he goes. With all that allied fire coming in, it just so happened that it was my final salvo there that finished him off and got the kill. So that was fantastic. 3 kills for me. There's the last enemy aircraft carrier. It is a Ranger. I'm going to chase him down. Yep, it's happening. I'm not going to turn around, try and cap the base. You can see the person who was capping the enemy base decided to join the chase with us as well. But we're going to get someone in that cap just to make sure that, well, we already have someone in there anyway, but just to make sure that we either cap the base or we kill the aircraft carrier. Because at this point in the battle, you don't want to just throw away your victory like that. Doesn't help anyone. People will probably be pretty angry, yourself included. So yeah, always have someone in cap to cap just in case. You never know, the aircraft carrier could pull off some crazy things, or we could just miss all our shots at him, and he can just run out the clock, and then damn it, right? So just have to wait for him to get into my range here before I can fire off my last few shots. You can see in chat, Toad King does say, stay in cap, just cap, right? Making sure that someone stays there to cap in case. Big thing. Want to make sure it happens. Don't want to lose the battle because you were were too dumb to actually leave someone in the cap to actually cap it out. There's the Ranger finally in range, and again, high explosives going into him, and it's only going to take a few salvos to get this guy gone. You can see, there we go. First salvo, he's on fire, 5 hits. Yeah, not looking too good for him. The fire's still burning, which tells me he's probably already used his repair ability. So that's great. You know that the fire's burning midship, so he's probably not going to be able to land any planes. He might be able to launch planes, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There we go. Get him. That's my 4th kill rather, and the battle's over. We've won. Fantastic. So taking a look at the final results here. 330,000 credits, 2,900 experience, first blood, 4 kills, a bunch of citadels and fires, so not too shabby at all. Almost 2,000 experience on that, and then yeah, look at that. Walk away with well over 200,000 credits and the experience I needed in order to buy my York. And in fact, what we're looking at here is the opening stages of me buying the York. So while the video is finishing up here, thank you so much for watching it through. Be sure to check out Toadkings' Twitch channel as well. If you do like Twitch, go ahead and check it out. Again, that is in the video comment section below. Little brain fart there. And yeah, leave any comments that you have for me. Love hearing from you guys and responding back to those. Hit the old like button if you like the button as well, or if you like the video as well. And if you're not a subscriber, please do hit the subscribe button as well. Always like seeing that number increase. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.